Big new federal reporting changes are coming that could impact the way certain home sales close in 2026. If you work with cash buyers, private lenders, LLCs, or trusts, you need to know about the new FinCEN residential real estate reporting rule, what it is, why it exists, and how it works. Hi, I'm Caitlin with Legacy Title Agency, and today we're going to get prepared for the new FinCEN anti-money laundering real estate reports. After this overview, I'll end by giving you the 3 big things you can expect to be different in these closings moving forward. Starting March 1st, 2026, a new requirement goes into effect from the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Yep, that's FinCEN. This is a bureau of the United States Treasury. This is what's officially called the Residential Real Estate Rule. Certain transactions must be reported to FinCEN. This isn't optional, it's federal law, designed to increase transparency in the real estate market. These reporting requirements aren't random either. They're part of United States efforts to combat money laundering and illicit finance in real estate. The current FinCEN rules require a traditional lender to file certain reports on real estate transactions. Cash and most private mortgage transactions where the buyer is an entity like an LLC or a trust currently aren't being reported to FinCEN under those existing bank secrecy acts. After some research, it became clear that these cash transactions with an entity buyer were more susceptible to fraud and have become appealing to some bad actors. The goal of this new reporting requirement is to take away the opportunity for would-be fraudsters to hide behind anonymity. So, what transactions are affected? A real estate report must be filed only when all 3 of these conditions are met. 1. The property is residential real estate, usually meaning a 1 to 4 family home, condo, co-op, or similar dwelling. 2. The transfer is non-financed, typically all cash or privately financed, not a loan from a big bank already subject to those anti-money laundering requirements. And 3. The buyer is a legal entity or a trust, not merely an individual. If even one of those isn't true, it usually isn't reportable. And remember, this is the general rule. There are some exceptions and exclusions, so be sure to talk to a professional to determine how this reporting requirement affects you. So the next logical question is, who has to file these reports? In each reportable transfer, usually there is clearly one party who's responsible for filing with FinCEN. This is known as the reporting person. FinCEN has a hierarchy called a reporting cascade. It looks at functions performed in the closing, starting with the closing or the settlement agent, such as the title company. Then it would consider the deed filer, underwriter, person dispersing funds, and so on and so forth to determine who has the obligation to file these reports. So, if we know that the title company is usually responsible for filing these reports, sounds like a title company's problem, right? Unfortunately, no. The thing we need to remember is that these reports are going to require the buyer and the seller to provide some information that they might not have had to provide in the past. So we're going to be asking some new questions. The real estate report requires basic transaction details like the identity of the reporting person, the property's description, the transferor and transferee, entity or trust, individuals representing the entity and the beneficial owners of that entity or trust. Beneficial owners are the actual real people, the humans, who ultimately control or benefit from the entity, not just the named LLC or trust. It's also going to require some source of funds information from the buyers as well. So we all need to be educated and prepared to help get all of this information securely over to the title company. So when does this report get filed? Well, the deadlines are very strict. The report must be filed within 30 calendar days of the closing or the last day of the month after the closing, whichever is later. And the documentation piece is important. The reporting person must keep that beneficial owner certification and any written designation agreements for 5 years. And remember, not every transfer is reportable. transfers related to death, divorce, some intra-family trust transfers, certain easements, or when no reporting person exists are among some of the exemptions. It's important to evaluate each situation carefully to decide if a real estate report is required. And on the flip side, it's important to remember that some transactions that we may have forgotten about will now be reportable too, such as a quitclaim deed into an LLC or into a trust. Even if there is no consideration, that may need to be reported. And if no title company is involved, then you'd need to look at that reporting cascade to determine who has that responsibility to file this report. What are those 3 big things that we should be ready to change thanks to these new FinCEN reports? Well, 1, we should be ready for and expecting the title company to ask for a lot more information, especially about our cash buyers. Things like social security numbers, banking info. These types of questions aren't usually asked in a typical cash sale, so we need to make sure our buyers are expecting this and feel comfortable. 2, we may see some new technology introduced into a transaction to allow for ease of reporting and secure data transmission. We should never be emailing social security numbers or other very sensitive data, so be prepared to use a portal or other form of secure communication. And 3, expect there to be a cost for these reports to be filed. It's been estimated that the cost to file these reports will be anywhere from $500 to $800. So we should be prepared for some extra fees to be involved with our buyers. For more information on Legacy's fees and technology, be sure to check out our website or give us a call with any questions. Want more updates on federal rules impacting real estate professionals? Hit subscribe and leave a comment with your questions. We're here for you and ready for all this FinCEN fun.